And we're back after a brief break. Now we're getting into the politics once again. 'Tis the season. And filing was December 9th. I've got a lovely young woman here that I've had the honor to work with. She's an attorney and also been a crime fighter for a long time. Kim Gonzalez, how are you?
Good, Joe. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. Now look, you are in the, help me out here, 43, right?
Yes, House District 43.
And that covers?
Jim Wells,
Yes.
Clayburgh, San Patricio, and B County.
I should know that. Those are my stomping grounds in Alice, Texas. And rule number one in politics, never mention your opponent's name, right? That's rule number one. But he is the incumbent. You're coming out swinging. And what made you run?
What made me run is just wanting to make a difference and seeing the changes that have been made in the last couple of cycles. I just don't agree with them. And I never thought that
Cuts, maybe?
cuts, healthcare, public education, women's rights, voter ID. There's a lot of things that I feel affect not just the people of my district, but of the state. And I think that somebody needs to come in and do something about it.
Well, I mean, he won against an opponent the last cycle, even despite the fact of the switch in parties. How did you see that as far as your constituents out there? Was that one of the reasons? I know I would get an objection for leading, but was that one of the reasons you ran? I mean, I was even shocked when he switched over from Democrat to Republican.
That's not really one of the reasons I'm running. That's the reason that people are excited to have me run, because I think there's a lot of hurt and betrayal from that switch. But my position is I want my district, my state, my community to be a better place. And whoever my opponent is, that's always going to be my goal. So not only am I doing this for my community, but my children. I want to make sure that they're going to have a good, solid education and healthcare. And my wanting to make a change, it doesn't matter to me who's on the other side.
And both you and your husband are district attorneys.
That's correct.
And how many children do you have?
We have 2 kids. I have a 3-year-old little girl and a 1-year-old little boy.
And I love bringing people on that are running for office. Number one, it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of money, and you have to fundraise. Now you're knocking on 200,000 doors right now. You just block walk, so I saved you all the walk. Now you're going to have to do it, but you're knocking on it. So if somebody says, "Why should I vote for you and not for the guy that's in office?" It's the same difference. I mean, what would you tell those people in Jim Wells and Brooks? What would you tell those people?
I would tell those people that I believe that I just offer a different perspective. One, being a woman, I think that I bring something different to the table. A lot of times I feel like our positions aren't necessarily heard. I think that we're very underrepresented in Austin, in politics in general. And I'm devoted. I made the decision to dedicate my career to serving my community when I decided to be a district attorney. I never thought that my path would lead down this road, but that's what it's called for. My husband and I have been DAs for the last 5-6 years, and I'm dedicated. And the only reason that I would ever imagine leaving the courtroom and having a change in career is because I'm dedicated to seeing things change and making things better. And that's truly the only reason that I want to do this. I have 2 young kids. I'm married. I have a full-time job. This is hard. And I love my job. It makes me happy. So to take on this challenge of getting involved in politics, it's something I care about, and it's something that I'm always going to take with me, whether it be in House District 43 in Austin, wherever I'm at. It's a dedication to the people in my community.
You talked about some of the things that really got you impassioned. What in the last couple of years that you've seen from the legislature come out that really makes your blood boil?
The cuts to education. I have a lot of people in my family that are teachers. And I see from them the stress that they go through from not having the funds to make sure that their classrooms have all of the supplies that they need, having to prepare their kids for testing and being judged by, how well kids perform on those standardized tests. I don't agree with that. And I think that we hear a lot that we are failing our students, but I think that as a state, we're failing our teachers. And if we don't take care of our teachers and our schools, we'll never be able to take care of our children.
That's true. That's true. And what about health care?
Healthcare, I am a big advocate of not only women's rights, but human rights. I don't understand why, everyone isn't entitled to equal access to healthcare, at least basic healthcare. It's a necessity. It's a right. We're human beings. We should be able to at least have some sort of means to protect our health.
Well, people say, well, I'm against socialized medicine. I'll say, are you or your dad or mom on Medicare? That's socialized medicine.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Absolutely.
You know.
And I believe people who are able should work and should be productive members of society. And that's not what I'm saying at all. I just feel like people fall on hard times. And sometimes, you will be on socialized health care. You will need help from the government. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're not contributing or able to contribute to society. What it means is that we need to be a more humane society and take care of each other. I have a very unique perspective having been at the district attorney's office, because I see what happens when people aren't able to take care of themselves, when children aren't able to get, and by children, not only just babies, 2, 3-year-olds, young high school age students, when they aren't able to get access to health care. And what people don't understand is that includes gynecological visits and STD treatment. It includes all aspects, not just getting your child to the doctor because they have a cold or because they have some sort of illness. We need to provide care for our kids, because there's things that a lot of people don't think about that our children are facing at this particular time.
On the front lines, you see, the punishment for drug possession. I mean, I think the two biggest hypocrisies or lies in the United States is we don't want Mexicans to cross the border, lie number one. And lie number two, we don't want drugs. We snort up half the cocaine in America, and then we want all the cheap labor. We want cheap labor and cheap drugs. Okay, so you're on the front lines here. People are coming in with drug charges. The reality of it, you want people to let's just throw them in jail. I mean, what kind of solution is that? Give them a Bible and then throw them in jail.
I don't know that we have a feasible solution other than starting from ground zero. When you don't have a centered familial core of values, then we raise these children who come up and who commit these crimes, or people who are doing drugs. And it's really two different issues if we're talking immigration or people that are committing crimes. Because when we talk about, having people who are coming into the courtrooms, a lot of times that's a cycle. And you have to look at what type of person you're dealing with. Are you dealing with somebody who has been on hard times, that needs help, that really wants to make a difference? Or are you dealing with somebody who, those are the choices that they've made and are going to continue to make? And sometimes when people can't follow the law and they hurt other people, then that's what we have to do, is we have to keep our society safe. Part of being a district attorney, which I think will serve me well in politics, is that you have to be fair and you have to consider both sides of everything. My job is to seek justice, whether it be for a victim or whether to make sure that a defendant is getting a fair trial. And I think that will serve me well, because I can't just jump to conclusions on things. I have to weigh all sides of something and be as fair as I can be.
Well, we got a couple of minutes left. This is your calling card for those people out that are watching. And we do have people in San Pat, Aransas, Portland watches, Corpus Christi here. What would you like to tell them, and why should they vote for you instead of your opponent come next November?
Well, first of all, I'm from Portland. I grew up there, born and raised, graduated from Gregory Portland High School. And that's where I wanted to raise my children. So that's where I'm at now. I love Portland. I love being a part of that community, and it's always going to be a big part of my heart. And not only Portland, but South Texas. I am really, really dedicated to making positive changes for people, and I am somebody that's affected by all of these issues. I have children. I'm a woman. I need health care. I have student loans. I'm greatly affected by all of these issues that I'm talking about, that I'm fighting for, and that's why I'm there. And I'll fight for these issues in Austin, and I'll fight for my people in my district.
People who want a yard sign, people who want to donate, people who want to visit a Facebook or website, tell us about all that, and then we're going to put it on the lower third anyway.
Okay. My Facebook is Kimberly Gonzalez, and I have a page there that you can like, Kimberly Gonzalez.
Great picture with the family. I like it.
Thank you. For HD43, I'm also on Twitter, Kim Gonzalez at HD43. And my website is www.votekimgonzalez.com, or you can reach me by email, which is votekimgonzalez@gmail.com.
And for yard signs and stuff, they can
Shoot
contact
me
you
an email.
there.
I'll be happy to get in touch with you and see what we can do.
All right. And would you be open to a little debate later as things get closer to the election?
Sure.
Bring on your opponent and you and have some good spirited debate. We won't need any security or everything. I always throw softballs, you know.
Okay.
But to bring out the issues, I think people need to be very informed. And I appreciate you coming on and letting us know your point of view. So that's Kim Gonzalez, remember that name, running for state representative, District 43.
That's correct.
All right. Well, thank you for coming
you, Joe.
on. Appreciate it.